Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me on today. What the hell day is it? May 9th, around 8 p.m. Currently waiting for the UFL to tweet out the transactions and the injury report people and everything like that. That's what we're waiting on right now. But we got some Battlehawks to talk about. We got a reKAWP. We got some weekly awards to give out, which I'm kind of excited for. Them. And then we also got a bird's eye preview for the Battlehawks and Birmingham Stallions game coming up on Saturday. I think like at 3 p.m. Let's say 2 p.m. I don't know. We'll look at that when the time comes. But first, as always, with the reKAWP. Sorry, I'm so dumb. I named the thing myself and I still get it wrong. For the reKAWP, we're going to start with A.J. McCarron and his performance. He was 24 for 37, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, an arm punt is what it was. It was an arm punt with a completion percentage of 65%. After going back and watching this thing, I believe, and this is kind of my takeaway for this game offensively, is drop passes. Whenever you hear a player like on like a sideline like interview, or even if it's like even just like a media interview, like what do you guys got to do? It's like, oh, we got to execute. Like what the hell does execute mean? Execute for this offense, and when they're talking about what they had to do this game, executing is actually catching the ball. Because this is a game that relied entirely on the passing game. I'll get to it when I talk about running backs, but there were only 11 designed runs in this game to running backs, to Jake Sailors, 8 to Jake Sailors, and 3 to Wayne Gallman. So this entire game was going through the air. I don't know if that's how they wanted this game to go, or if that's just the way that it went, if they felt like their backup linemen with Abdul Beecham and Eric Magwood, the best way to do that was to have them being to doing pass sets rather than run block. Honestly, I didn't necessarily hate the way that they run blocked for the few times that we saw it. But maybe that's what they saw their strength was, and maybe that's the way that they game planned for this game. Whenever you are doing as many screen passes as this offense does, and just to kind of clarify, short passes in this game, the Battlehawks, so this is any pass that's less than 5 yards, so that also means going behind the line of scrimmage. They had 17 of those. They completed 13 out of 17. If you're going to have that many screen passes, and a lot of them got blown up because there's some not very good play design. I think Bruce Gradkowski thinks his wide receivers are a lot shiftier from catching the ball flat-footed on screens or moving backwards behind the line of scrimmage. I think he thinks that they're a lot shiftier than they are, especially like Marcel Aitman. If you're relying entirely on that to have those short yardage gains that you would have in lieu of a run game, you better catch a goddamn ball whenever it goes past the sticks, my dudes. You better goddamn do that. You better do that. I did an AJ McCarron spray chart. Listen, I'm not a hero. The heroes are out there. I'm just the dickhead who watches a game and have a notebook. And then I actually, to make my life easier, I actually bought a multicolored pen. If you're listening, oh yeah, that's what I should also say this. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you want to watch it on YouTube, you could do that. I always say this. You could do it. If you want to look at this dumb face that I got, you go to YouTube. It's Solid Pod. If you're watching it and you're like, I don't give a shit about this guy's multicolored pen, which I mean, you should, because it's got what? It's got 6 colors. Not many people covering the Battlehawks have pens that have 6 colors. I'm the only one. Actually, I could probably confirm that if I wanted to. Nobody else is doing 6 colored pens. What the hell was I talking about? Yeah, if you're watching this and you don't care about the pen because you're a fucking loser, you can go listen to it on Spotify or Apple. It's solid. Anyway, I have a multicolored pen and I'm pretty fucking proud of it. It's shit and it writes bad. But I use that for my spray chart. You could see that up here I did, if you're watching it up in the top margin of my notebook, I had a little color key that I completely abandoned. I probably could have just used a black and a red pen instead of a 6-color pen. But I have the 6-color pen, and I can't. This is not important. I did a spray chart. I did a spray chart for AJ, and as you can see on this spray chart, AJ threw the ball past the line of scrimmage to the right side of the field, outside the numbers, 5 times in this game. Again, he threw the ball. What did I say? 37 or 34 times. What did I say? 1 second. I'm pulling it up right now. This is bad. Listen, 37 times he threw the ball to the right side of the field, past the line of scrimmage. 5 times. 2 of them were for completions, and both of them were touchdowns. The deep one to not to Hassan Reddick. That's an Eagles player that I'm sad about still. To Hakeem Butler and to Stevie Mitchell. Anyway, you can see on this the amount of incompletions that we're looking at. He threw one out of bounds. He threw one, missed one on second down, missed a first down, missed a third down, missed a first down, missed a third down. If you, and I say miss, these are just incompletions. AJ didn't necessarily miss a whole lot this game, but the few times that we're getting the ball to go past the line of scrimmage, you better goddamn come down with that ball. You better come down with it. As far as his completions went, when it comes to medium passing, so from 5 to 14 yards, he was 7 for 12. My point here is that, again, if you're supplementing a screen game for a lack of a running game, you better come down with the ball when it comes to moving the sticks. That's really kind of where I saw this game stalling out. Again, not a huge fan of the amount of screens. Really, really not a huge fan at all. You guys know that. You know me. You know that I understand the value of screens. You know that. You know I understand. I just fucking hate them. That's a me thing. That's a Jake Beckman thing. I hate screens. I hate screens, especially relying on them. They can be useful. Sure, they can be. But so many of the times, he was throwing the ball, so you have 2 guys wide out right, or 3 guys wide out right, and one of those guys is catching the ball. There are 3 defenders over there if there are 3 guys wide out right, because they did a lot of the defense is playing it that way. And then 2 guys get blocked from the wide receivers, and then it's just the 1 guy who catches the ball who needs to beat a single defender. A lot of times, those 2 guys were not blocked. One of them would get through, or just the guy who was unblocked would make the tackle. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing with this? We know that this is going to continue to happen. And then there was one, I can't remember who it was. There was one ball, I think it was to Stephen Mitchell. Got a swing pass thrown to him, and it was one time where and he had some space too, man. He had some no. It was to Peasy. Still hate the name. It was to Peasy, and he ended up missing the ball on like a 3rd and 1. He ended up not coming down with it, and it hit him in the hands. And that was the one time that it actually got blocked correctly. It got blocked really well. The Roughnecks were in zone, and the whoever the hell the wide receiver that I was out, I think it might have been Marcel Aitman, came out and got a really good block. Peasy, it was a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, 3rd and short is what it was. And Peasy hits him in the hands, and he doesn't come down with it, and he could have gotten the first down. And it's things like that. Just catch the goddamn ball, man. Just catch the ball. Catch the ball. If they even had, if they had half of their completions on 3rd downs that were incompletions, they would have put up 35 points this game. And I have no doubt about that. They would have been able to extend drives. They would not have had their 3 3-and-outs that they had. That first drive was hampered. The first goddamn play of the game was a screen. What are we doing? Or a swing pass. Whatever. It was behind the line of scrimmage, and I hate it, man. That's kind of my point. I don't like the way. I understand that this kind of offense can work. To be able to complete the screens will be as kind of like a counterpunch to the defense. It'll actually be able to get your run game going. But if you don't get the screens going, then everything kind of falls stale, and then you rely on Hakeem Butler, which is not a bad guy to rely on in all reality. Hakeem Butler, 6 receptions for 134 yards. Go off, King. Go off, King. Go off my King. You were a giant man. You should go off. Then you have to rely on that. Again, not a bad guy to rely on. He's the most, I would argue, the most explosive player in the UFL, wide receiver in the UFL. We'll talk about the most explosive player in the UFL later on. But yeah, that's kind of where this game was. Is the incompletions and play calling that set the team up for failure kind of throughout the game that really kind of made this game feel stale. That's really what it came down to. I don't think AJ, again, talking about AJ is where I started this whole thing off. I don't think he had a bad game. He had really good pocket presence. He was able to move around. He felt kind of some of the pressures from the guys coming from the right side. Again, the Abdul Beecham, I don't think he had, it wasn't a good game, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad game. Yeah, he got beat a handful of times. There was a really bad rep from, like, they threw Jake Sutherland in there to block on the right side one time. He completely whiffed, and having a tight end whiff on the right side of the line that has two backups playing, that sucks, and that's going to be a failure. I can't remember if that ended up being a sack or if that was just an incompletion. But yeah, it was kind of some farts like that really kind of stalled with the offensive line. But for the most part, I think that they played well. Anyway, I think AJ McCarron moved around in the pocket really well. Kind of avoided a lot. When we're talking entire right side of your offensive line backups, and he only got sacked twice. I don't hate it. Only getting sacked twice in a game, I just generally don't hate that. I mean, that's still a lot of growth from what we have seen from this offensive line. It's hard for them to come, like, I think last week did they not have any sacks, or maybe it was the week before that they didn't allow any sacks. So obviously that's the peak, and we're not always going to consistently hit that. But that's kind of, I think AJ played a good game. He was on point with a lot of his throws. There was the bad one with the arm punt to Blake Jackson in the end zone, ended up being an interception. You want to blame that on AJ? I'll hear you out. If you want to blame that on Blake Jackson, I'll definitely hear you out on that because I'm biased. But if you want to put it on both of them, the lack of communication and how he doesn't exactly have a feel for Blake Jackson, I'll also hear you on that. I think that's probably more the correct thing. But AJ McCarron, good game. He did what he could. He can't catch the ball for people too. As far, what did I have next? The receivers. Like I said, Hakeem Butler, 6 catches, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game by him. Great game. 43 yards a yak. Great game by Hakeem Butler. He tried to do that hurdle at one point. He actually went on a show after that and said that the reason that he did try to hurdle, which I suspected was because he saw Manny Wilkins do it last week against the defenders, and he wanted to try to do that, except it just really didn't work at all, even a little bit, because the guy didn't go low. Hakeem Butler just thought he could clear a 6-foot man. But we're talking talent of the players, not exactly their smartness their knowledge of height. Let's say that. You would think that those two things come hand in hand, but I'm not going to flame a player outright for trying to do something sick. And hurdling a guy who's 6 feet tall, that's objectively sick. Like, that's a dope thing to do. And if he would have done it, it would have been fucking cool. Except he didn't do it, and it looked really pathetic and kind of scary, too, because he came down kind of wicked. But Hakeem Butler, bang-up game, bailed the team out over and over again. I think he was had 8 targets, so only had 2 incompletions. One of them hit him right in the hands. Another one, maybe he was just the closest. I don't remember outright seeing any, like, missed balls to him. Maybe they're implying another target to him just because he was the closest one on a throwaway or something like that. I don't know if that's how the UFL does their stats and everything like that. But, yeah, only 1 ball hit him in the hands, and that would have been a completion for a conversion on like a 2nd or 3rd down or something like that. But otherwise, he bailed the team out. I'm totally fine with that. Ja'Cour Pearson-Peasy, 5 for 8, 46 yards. He bailed the team out, too. He, again, had some boneheaded missed catches. I don't necessarily like that the way that the team is using him, being behind. Like, yes, he's smaller and he can be shifty, but I would rather just have his momentum carry him. I know AJ has had some trouble hitting smaller guys, like last year with Austin Prohl. He had some trouble hitting Austin Prohl. He's had trouble hitting Darius Shepard this year. Ja'Cour Pearson, haven't exactly seen him try to do a whole lot of, like, the deep streak shots. A lot of it is yak that they're getting with Ja'Cour Pearson. And I don't hate that, but I don't, again, and it's because it's a swing pass or a screen behind the line of scrimmage. I don't like that just outright. Especially how often they do it. Jake Sailors is actually the 3rd leading receiver in this game, or pass catcher in this game. I think they used him well. He did have a touchdown on an AJ shovel pass, or no, maybe that wasn't a touchdown, but he got it into the like to the 1 yard line. He got a first down on a broken play shovel pass, which I love the heads up. I love that. That's AJ being able to connect with his receivers, that he doesn't have that connection with Blake Jackson, but he's able to, like on a broken play, he's able to find the guy. The guys are able to get their heads around, turn, see what AJ wants. Jake Saylor's bang up job by him. Steve Mitchell Jr. God, that guy, he's not bad, man. He ain't bad. He missed both of his balls in week 5, but this week came alive. 4 for 5 for 35 yards. Got that beautiful touchdown catch on a beautiful throw by AJ, right in the middle of the end zone, right before halftime. Love that. Eat that up all day. That was gorgeous. He had a 4th down conversion. He had a 3rd down conversion. 3 plays after that. The guy, he's good. I like him. I like him a lot. I like him a lot better than Blake Jackson. If we're talking somebody who has to come in and be the Darius Shepard replacement, he's not exactly a 1-for-1, but I like him a lot better than I like a Blake Jackson. Marcel Aitman had 2 catches on 5 targets. He was one of the ones that dropped a lot, man. It's starting to seem like when he had that game, was it like week 2 or 3 where he really came alive? It's like, man, Battlehawks got themselves a weapon right here. Yeah, he was hurt a lot last year, but when he's healthy, man, he's able to get it going. And it's kind of been that 1 week, and we really haven't seen it. And in a 10-game season, that just really sucks to see. To see a guy kind of have that explosive thing, to see what he can do, only for it to kind of just fall off. I would like to see him be able to get his hands on more balls, because he could be a really good possession receiver if he were able to come down with the balls. Darius Shepard only had the one catch on a screen for 5 yards. He's clearly on a pitch count. I don't know. That sucks. That's another person that I want to see what happens with this this injury report that comes out. I don't think he's going to be on the injury report but I really hope that he's feeling better and he can actually be a workload guy. Because again, looking at this spray chart that AJ did, I've only done them for the past 2 weeks because, like I said, last week I noticed that AJ was throwing the ball to the left a whole lot. And Darius Shepard's really good at those crossing routes, getting the ball in the middle of the field. He's great at catching the ball is what he is. And that's clearly what we need right now. So not having him on the field, not having him get a good target share, that's going to be something that's going to hurt this team, as it did. And it's going to be incredibly important this weekend. And then I said Blake Jackson, 1 catch, 2 targets for 4 yards. I don't like him. He doesn't do a whole lot for me. So that's wide receivers. As far as the running backs go, like I said, nothing really showed here. I thought, when I was watching the game, I thought to myself, I was like, they're running decently. Like, they're not, like, some of the runs, like, okay, Jake Saylor's only had 8 carries for 18 yards, average of 2.3. That's such a small amount. And yes, that is an average, a short average yards per carry, the 2.3. It's like, it's not good, but you only give the ball to him 8 times. You're not really getting him an opportunity to break off those big runs that he can do, that we've seen him do. He's able to get, yes, it's awesome when he has somebody that can help him spring him free, but he's able to do some jump cuts and stuff where he can spring himself free. He's able to do those runs where he's able to twist and turn like he did on those catches. A lot of his catches were right at the line. He got 29 yards, and like he's able to like be a physical runner and fight for yards. Like I would have liked to see him actually carry. Everybody would have liked to see him carry the ball more. I mean, 11 carries is really not good. You don't want to put 37 passes on a 33-year-old guy's arm. Like you don't want to put 37 passes on anybody's arm. Honestly, that's not gonna be. It's not a winning strategy, especially if you're playing from ahead. Wayne Gallman had 3 carries for 10 yards. Again, I think I like watching the game. I liked the way that the runs were looking for the most part. The defense played the run really well. They took away the run really well, and they kind of just made the Battlehawks stop doing it. And it was dumb. It's frustrating. A.J. McCarron had 5 carries for 4 yards, but I mean he's just scrambling, man. One of them he had was like really good. It was like an 8-yard carry. But that's where we're at with the running game. Like I said, the offensive line, I think they played well. I didn't hate the Houston's not a good team. Really hoping for a year ago, if you would have had wanted me to say, really hoping for Jawan Bushell-Beatty to come back. I would have beat the shit out of myself like that. I know I wouldn't want that, but he's playing much better this year. I want a Jawan Bushell-Beatty to come back. I want a Vidal Alexander to come back. Like they mesh well. Yes, the backups are they're plenty fine, but coming up against a really fucking good defense. Next week. There was a really good rep by Steven Gonzalez. One I haven't. That's probably the best rep that I've ever seen from him. Where he took out 2 guys with 1 block. There was a guy stunting the one of their ends. One of their D ends, or was that? I can't remember which guy. If it was a D end or an edge rusher, stunted, came around the middle, and Steven Gonzalez reset his feet and just shoved him into one of the interior defensive linemen. Took them both out. It was great rep by him. That was bang up job by him. There wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for them to show off what they could do in the run game. But what I did see, I didn't necessarily hate it. Some of them got blown up right at the line of scrimmage, but that's going to happen. And if you only have a 11 play sample size, it's tough to say that was the reality of the actual situation. But that is the offense. The defense was just great, man. They were great. Through and through, the entire defense played phenomenally. The defensive backs were on point. Cam Kelly almost got an interception. I'd have liked them to show me a replay or like zoom in on what the hell happened, because an interception hit him like in the body as he was like doing like a baseball slide to the ground. But then 2 plays later on a 4th down, like a 4th and 6, I think it was, Reed Sinnett, the Houston quarterback, gets a real quick pass out to a guy in the flat. He's got 2 blockers blocking both the slot corner and the outside corner. Cam Kelly says, no, go fuck yourself with that, and just comes down and absolutely plasters the guy before he can get any yak, man. It was beautiful. Saved it. Got a turnover on downs just with 1 tackle. Just absolutely stuck the guy. Just planted him into the ground. Roughnecks receivers only had 80 yards of yak, and most of that came from Justin Hall, number 11, their receiver. To compare that, the Battlehawks had 114 yards of yak. So stopping yak that's good, baby. That's what I like to see. And Cam Kelly crushed it there. Brendan Sebastian played pretty good. He had lockdown. He was moving. He got some pretty good tackles, stopping the run too. He did get beat on 1 play by a double move. It was the 50-yard pass that would have been potentially a touchdown, but the wide receiver, it was the one where the ball, the center snapped it and hit himself. It's the broadcast said it hit him in the leg. That ball hit him right in the dick. He snapped that ball too high. It hit him in the dick, bounced on the ground. Reed Sinnett picked it up, throws it late, but to a wide receiver that ended up beating Brandon Sebastian with a double move. Kind of did that. This is a really dumb comparison because the guy's nothing like none of the receivers in the UFL or anything like DeAndre Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins is able to do this thing where his double move is almost like he decelerates and then accelerates. And he's hurt himself doing that because that's a very difficult thing to do to your hamstrings. But this guy decelerates, makes Brandon Sebastian kind of slow down, bite on that, and then he takes off. But Reed Sinnett got the ball out late. Ball went way to the outside. Guy ended up not coming down with it right on the edge of the goal. You know what play I'm thinking of. But the reason that guy was so far open is because Brandon Sebastian bit on a double move, which sucks. Let's see. Linebackers. Willie Harvey played well. Not a whole lot of missed tackles that I saw by him. Nothing crucial. There's just a lot of good gang tackling. Mike Rose played good, which sucks because my biggest fear whenever I get this alert. Let me see if it's there. I signed up for. I did notifications for UFL communications department tweets, and normally they do them right at 8:00 or 8:15. It's 8:30 now, so who the fuck knows. But Mike Rose, I think that he's going to be out for a while. Looking at his injury, you could only see it briefly, but his knee was pointing straight and his foot was 90 degrees to the left. This is his left foot. And then he went down really awkwardly. Seems like that might be a soft tissue thing, which really sucks because then he would just be out for the rest of the season. But he played well, man. He forced a fumble. Willie Harvey forced a fumble. So now we're talking about Lakeem Williams and Willie Harvey. I like a Lakeem Williams. He plays strong. He's no Mike Rose. But he does play strong. He plays physical. He hits guys hard. And when we're talking about a linebacker, the core of what a linebacker is, that's it. That's what you want. He plays smart. He might be a little bit slow on breaks and stuff like that. But I don't hate it. Think of like a Carson Wells coming in for or taking Pita Taumoi-Penu's snaps when Pita was out. Like I don't hate it. I don't hate a Lakeem Williams. It's just like with Carson Wells. It's just big shoes to fill because Mike Rose was really, really good. Linebackers played great. Defensive line, though. Defensive line is where the game is. On my notes watching this game, I probably wrote defensive line, Pita Taumoi-Penu, Travis Feeney, Carson Wells, Kobe Smith. I wrote their names probably about like 12 times during this game. They just played out of their goddamn mind. Travis Feeney is straight up bashing people, hurting himself, going out of the Travis Feeney getting hurt out of bounds. Watching it, he came down and like his shin collided with like like somebody on the sideline shin. And that kind of took him out. But he came back in, and he was very effective after that. Pita Taumoi-Penu, though, buddy, that was one of my most fun things. Like, watching this game, I couldn't take my eyes off the battle between him and number 51, the right tackle for Houston, that Natai Rogers, the guy number 51, big old hulking man, big old bruiser guy with the cowboy collar. It's like when we know cowboy collars don't actually do anything now. We've seen the science. We know that they don't do anything, but they look cool. And this guy looks big and tough, pathetic, really bad at his job, but he looks tough. And Pita Taumoi-Penu just made this guy eat his fucking lunch, man. He just beat the shit out of him constantly. He was constantly in Reed Sinet's face, just bashing him, hammering him. Reed Sinet goes down with that arm thing right before the 2-minute warning at the end of the game. Pita Taumoi-Penu's all over him, just blasting this guy. And it affected Reed Sinet so much during the game. Like, the guy completely lost his composure. Like, after he got blasted by Travis Feeney and Pita Taumoi-Penu like 2-3 times, the guy was he just didn't have it anymore. He just took too long. He was panicky. He would move, get out of the pocket. To be fair, if he stayed in the pocket, he was just going to get blasted again. But yeah, man, they played really good. This defensive line came alive. They are 100% the reason that this game went the way that it did. And that is a good thing. If you can win in the trenches on defense, you're going to make offenses have a real bad time. You getting ahead of a quarterback, buddy, they're fucked. Game over. So that was good. That was the defense. Coaching wise, I really liked Donnie Abraham's game plan for this. I think he knocked it out of the park. And he knocked it out of the park because they only scored 6 points on offense. Again, the game ended 22-8, but that's just because of the safety at the end. Bruce Gradkowski got plays in. I didn't notice any egregiously late plays. Like, I didn't off the top, like, just watch it. I wasn't totally paying attention to it too much, but I didn't notice any of those things where the plays are coming in with anywhere between 14 to 16 seconds left on the play clock. So that's good from him. That's growth from him. His choice of plays sucks dick. And his design for screens is sucks dick too. But yeah, that's actually it. I don't really have a whole lot of good things to say about Bruce Gradkowski. He had a better camera this time. He had a better camera before too, so that's not even growth there. I'm done with Bruce Gradkowski. I don't really get it. I don't really get him. AJ says, I keep saying this, AJ says that he likes Bruce Gradkowski, but I don't know about that. He did keep the ball in AJ's hand more than he has in the past, obviously with 37 passes, but I would have liked to see more runs. Don't know if that's a Bruce Gradkowski thing or an Anthony Becht thing. What a person to talk about, Anthony Becht. Loved the aggressiveness at the end of the first half. Loved it. Oh my God, I love it. Give me points, baby. Give me points. 4 seconds left. Kick a field goal. Go fuck yourself with that. Go fuck yourself. We're going to throw a touchdown pass. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Way to be aggressive after a turnover. Oh my God. Anthony, big Tony Baloney, Tony Pepperoni Baloney. Hell yeah, bud. Big Tone, big Coach Tone Becht. Hell yeah with that. That was great. Then fast forward 30 minutes, and then he's running a coward's draw with Jake Sailors on 3rd and 12. Way to boost the running stats there, Tone. Coward's draw? Really? You're going to do a coward's draw on 3rd and 12? How about you fucking throw it to 88, you dumbass? Like, why? Why do we do these things? Why do we do these frustrating things? Why are we cowards when we don't have to be cowards? It was such conservative play calling in the second half, man. Such conservative play calling. Take shots. Take shots. Okay, Battlehawks at that point were 4-1. Okay, they're 4-1. They're now 5-1. They were well on their way to being 5-1. The defense was not going to allow the Roughnecks to score again. But we know the value of points. Just last week, you went up and said, "Fuck it, I'm going to get points against the defenders." Like, you just did that. Why would you do conservative play calling? We have faith in this defense. We have faith in this defense, buddy. Take a shot on 3rd and 12. What the fuck do you have to lose? What are you gonna do? What is it gonna be? 4th and 12? It was 4th and 11 after that, dumbass. Like, why are we doing coward shit? I don't get it. I don't get it, and it is incredibly, incredibly frustrating to me. But again, at the end of the first half, I'd kiss you right in the mouth, Tone. Second half, I would kiss you in the mouth and I'd bite your tongue off. Is that technically $1 million babying somebody? If you bite their tongue? Sure. I decided that it is. So that's the coaching and everything. Do I have anything else? I don't like the lack of tight end usage. They threw a ball to Jake Sutherland for a 2-point conversion, and that was beautiful on a tight end screen. Wish we could see more tight ends, and that's actually going to be a big key for next week. But I'll get into that in the Bird's Eye preview. Let's get into the awards. The awards for Week 6 with the Battlehawks beating the Houston Roughnecks 22-8. All right, number one, first award, obviously, is always going to be reKAWP of the Week. The reKAWP of the Week goes to the player or the coach who did the best. I don't give it to quarterbacks for doing quarterback things, or else A.J. McCarron would get it every single week. Not going to do that. reKAWP of the Week this week. It's between two players, to me. It's between two players. It's between Hakeem Butler and Pita Tamwe-Penu. Did I give it to Pita Tamwe-Penu before? I think I did. But I'm not going to try to let that affect me. Hakeem Butler kept this offense and this team going. I got it. And he tried to do something sick. So actually, it's more about the point. Well, no, because that's counterintuitive to the point of the award. I was going to say I'm going to give it to him because he did something sick. But even if he tried to do something sick and it ends up being real dumb, then that's not a reKAWP of the Week. So reKAWP of the Week is going to go to Hakeem Butler because he kept the team alive. He kept the team alive. He had, 6 catches for 134 yards, which is about an average game for him. But given the rest of what the offense did, Ja'Cour Pearson was the closest person to him with 46 yards. So Hakeem Butler had 98 yards more than Ja'Cour Pearson. You got to give it to Hakeem Butler. The reKAWP of the Week goes to Hakeem Butler. Hakeem, hats off to you. reKAWP to you, Hakeem. I'll give you a certificate if you ask for it, which you will. Oh, you know what? No, reKAWP of the Week last week went to Donnie Abraham, but maybe the week before that went to Pita Tamwe-Penu. I think Pita Tamwe-Penu won it. He's gonna win it. He's gonna win it at some point. He's really fucking good, man. But Hakeem Butler, you get reKAWP of the Week. Of the Week. Of the Week's the opposite. Of the Week goes to the player who performed the worst. And this one sucks to me. I got to give it to Sterling Hoffrichter, the punter. He had a really shit game. And he knows it. So that's kind of why I'm comfortable giving it to him. I'm sure that he's probably put this past him, and Sterling Hoffrichter, if you're listening to this, I apologize, buddy, that I have to do this, but you can't have a performance like that, man. That was dog shit, is the Sterling Hoffrichter thing. Let's see if I can look up what his punting. His average was 35.8 yards. He kicked one into the end zone, shanks another one, and only goes like 20 yards. Like, fucking buddy, what are we doing? Just punt. You can be a good punter. We've seen you be a good punter. But you got to get all the week because you really fucked up, buddy. You really fucked up. In a game where he had to punt what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, he really fucked up. He put two out of the 5 of his punts were dog shit. You can't put it in the end zone. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And you certainly can't put it out of bounds the way that you did. And you saw the one whenever he did shank it and put it out of bounds, he immediately knew. He like turned his head and like put his head to the ground, like arrested development, and just started like moping to the sidelines. Like, yeah, dude, you fucked that. You should just walk to the side because nobody's returning that because you kicked it out of bounds. That sucked. Sterling Hoffrichter. The week to you, buddy. The week to you. Hot mic of the week. This one's no. We're gonna do coward of the week. Coward of the week. I know that I just flamed Anthony Becht for being the 3rd and 12 cowards draw, but he also had the really good thing at the beginning of the first half. To me, all right, this could be controversial. To me, the coward of the week is actually going to go to the Fox broadcast. I don't like watching the games on Fox because they censor it. They really do. You can't. You don't even hear half of the game. Half of the. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that. Oh, we got everybody's mic'd up. We're gonna give you so much more access, and then censor half of it. What are you an asshole? Don't do that to me. When ESPN's out here giving fucks and shits about everywhere, they don't care. ESPN's like, you know what? This is football, baby. You're gonna listen to it all. They're having guys dropping N-bombs on the broadcast, and that's on ABC. It's not even on ESPN. That game was on ABC, and this guy just drops an N-bomb. I was like, what the hell? I love this. I don't love the N-word. That's not what I meant. You guys get what I meant by that. And it's not that I love the N-word. I mean that I love that I'm not going to dig myself in a hole or try to dig myself out because I'm not in a hole to dig myself. Anyway, Fox is out here trying to censor and everything. So Fox get the entirety of Fox broadcasting, and then also the people at the game. They're Joel Klatt and who's the other guy? They're not even at the game. Like our seats are right next to the broadcast booth for ESPN. They're in section 314. We're in section 315. We're right next to them. There was nobody in that broadcast booth. They're doing this remote. What do you think this is? COVID? Shut up, loser. Come to the game. Don't be a bitch. Come to the game. See for yourself. Then don't be like, oh, because then you also don't get any of the announcers being like, oh, the great crowd noise. They're going off of whatever the hell they're seeing. I didn't like that either. So cowards of the week is Fox. That's Fox gets cowards of the week. Hot mic of the week related to this. There's not a whole lot of hot mics, but there was one good one. Ooh, Reed Sinnett. Reed, my boy. Reed Sinnett with a giant chin, by the way. Not like big, bulgy chin, but it protrudes so far forward. He looks, you know how like those Chad memes are just like a chiseled guy with a butt chin? Reed Sinnett is like if the butt chin, it's just one ass cheek. He's got an ass cheek chin. It just protrudes out. If it was a witch's nose, or if he was a witch, it would be a witch's nose. Like it protrudes very. Anyway, I don't understand how the hardest working person on the field was the chin strap for Reed Sinnett because he got popped a whole lot of times. And also it's got to contain a lot of bone. Whatever, it's got to contain a lot of bone. Hats off to you. Cacao of the week to you, Reed Sinnett's chin strap. But Reed Sinnett for hot mic of the week. The only real one that we got. Was they tried to censor it. And this is actually on the play where Reed Sinnett throws a ball to the running back and he fumbled. It was on that play. He's hurt. He's doing a hurry up offense. Yeah, because this is their 2-minute offense, and they try to censor it, but then right out of the censor, right when the sound cuts back in, you just hear Reed Sinnett yell, "Fuck him!" Like how that, when there's no hot mics of the week, you gotta take what you can get. And Fox, eat a dick, you cowards. Reed Sinnett, tells you to fuck yourself. Just for Reed Sinnett to just yell "fuck him" and beat the censor button. I love that. So cacao of the week, or not cacao, hot mic of the week goes to Reed Sinnett. Big old bitch of the week goes to that Natai Rogers because he's a big old honking guy who's not very good. Was there anything else that really stood out during the game? Your opinion means nothing award of the week goes to one of the sideline judges. One of the refs tried to call a flag, and then the other, like the head ump, says, "It's up to you. What'd you see?" And then it was gonna be on Jared Jones-Smith for an illegal man downfield, and AJ like did a double pump on like a double clutched a ball, and the ref goes, "Oh, I think it was a legal man downfield on 75." The head ump goes, "It's up to you," and then they just picked up the flag. So that guy's opinion means nothing of the week. I'll make you a plaque too if you want it. I don't care. Kind of falling off with. I need to not force awards, but I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, that's the reKAWP. I think I got everything. I talked about AJ, talked about the receivers, talked about the lack of running game, offensive line, defense it as a whole. Defense, honestly, should have got Cacaw of the week. That's 2 games in a row where they're just fucking playing lights out. Talked about coaching, and I did awards. So let's get into the bird's eye preview. Has the UFL tweeted this thing yet? Looking at it, UFL Communications Department. No. Okay, so that sucks. Bird's eye preview. The St. Louis Battlehawks are going down to Birmingham, Alabama to play the Birmingham Stallions on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central. It's going to be on Fox again. Stallions are favored by 4.5 points right now. Man, the Stallions are a good football team. I've been watching them a lot. Been watching them a whole lot. Not only do I watch all these games, but then also like the last 3 games that the Battlehawks have played, they've played the guys that the Stallions played the week prior. So when I'm watching the games from to do the bird's eye preview, it's always for the last 3 weeks it's been a Stallions game. So I've been watching this team. This team's good. They allow the fewest points. They allow the fewest rushing yards. They have the most sacks, and they allow the fewest first downs on defense. Their defense allows the fewest first downs. The story of this team. Well, I don't know if it's a story of the team. 2 big things about this team. Number 1, they have 2 quarterbacks. They have this guy, Adrian Martinez, who's good, who's really good, I said Hakeem Butler might be the most explosive player in the UFL. No, it's Adrian Martinez. And they have this other quarterback, Matt Corral. They do a quarterback competition every single week, and then on Thursday, they decide which quarterback is going to start that game. We are all hoping right now that Matt Corral had the best goddamn practice week of his entire life because we want Matt Corral. Because Matt Corral is not anywhere close as good as Adrian Martinez is. Adrian Martinez, I think he started 2 games in a row. He started 3 games total. It's looking like it's Adrian Martinez's job, but they're still adamant. Birmingham's, what's his name? Steve Holtz. It's Lou Holtz's son. I was gonna say they both, Lou and Steve, look the same age, but Lou Holtz, it looks really bad and old and gross. Steve Holtz is still adamant about the quarterback competition every week. I don't believe that to be true, but he says it, and I'll take him at his word. Man, oh man, do we want it to be Matt Corral. Matt Corral is nowhere near as good as Adrian Martinez. Adrian Martinez, looking up these stats, I talked about this when I did the mid-season report card. Adrian Martinez averages 54.5 rushing yards per game. He averages 10.5 yards per rush. The guy wants to run the ball. That's it. He wants to. He can run the ball. I think he would rather just be quarterback and do whatever he needs to do. But that son of a bitch will run the ball, and he'll run it down your throat. He'll run it around you. He'll run it anywhere. It's not just that he's good at running the ball. He's fast as shit, dude. Like the guy, he puts on the burners and will burn safety. He'll just run straight by a safety, and they won't be able to catch up to him. He'll run by everybody. He's good. And if we know one thing about this Battlehawks defense, we haven't seen it. In a minute. We haven't seen it since game 1 when they played the Panthers. Not the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers. The Michigan Panthers. The Battlehawks played the Michigan Panthers against a real running threat of a quarterback. You could argue that Jordan Thomas, but that's not what he's been doing this year. When the Battlehawks played the Michigan Panthers in week 1, E.J. Perry was their quarterback, and he's a quick son bitch too. He's not near as good as Adrian Martinez, but in that game, E.J. Perry had rushed for 17 yards and 2 touchdowns. That and we saw last year with this team, and the defense is much better this year than it was last year. But they can get cooked by by a quarterback who uses his legs. If they decide to go man, like what happened in Michigan, they go man and then they spread the entire offense or the entire defense out in an empty or in shotgun or something like that, then you got a wide open box right in the middle, a real light box that a quarterback can just take off. And that's what I'm afraid of. Adrian Martinez, like I said, where the hell did that go? 10.5 yards per carry. As far as passing goes, why? I can't. Well, it's hard to say because it only does team passing yards and not player passing yards. But the other thing about this team, this offense, this Birmingham offense, because they put up a shitload of points. They have, let's see, the Battlehawks have put up 171 points. The Battlehawks have put up 173 points. The Stallions have put up 171 points. So they're right there. This offense wants to be an inside zone. They are just a zone running offense. They just want to run zone the entire game. They'll do that. They'll crush you. They'll run it down your throat. They'll just beat you left and right with a good running game. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, what if we just sell out and stop the run? That's also a problem. Memphis Showboats did that last week. Memphis Showboats held the Stallions to one of their worst rushing performances of the season, a game where they still rushed for 98 yards. One of their worst of the season was 98 yards. What do they average per game? Rushing, they average 145.7 yards per game on the ground. So they got held to 98 yards, which is a real bad game for them. Adrian Martinez ended up throwing the ball for 369 yards. They'll beat you anyway, man. They'll beat you anyway. So if you think you can take away one thing, they have so many weapons, especially receiving options. They have one in week 6, and this was Adrian Martinez's most, like the most he's ever gotten the ball out to people. He hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? No, he hit 10 different receivers in one game. And he's just spreading the ball out to everybody. And it's not like with the Battlehawks where you're like, okay, Hakeem Butler's key one. Bracket Hakeem Butler. Bracket him. Do not let him get open. Don't let there be a deep shot. He's just got so many guys. There's a guy, Kevin Austin, some tweener, tight end, ex-receiver type guy, just a bigger receiver. Ended up having 108 yards on 4 catches. They can just throw the ball to anybody. They got Deion Kane. He was the leading wide receiver. I think maybe even the offensive player in the year in the USFL last year. They've got all these guys, man. They can throw the ball to anybody, and they have these guys on all different areas of the field. If you're doing zone, they're going to pick apart the zone. They got a really strong running game. They got this guy C.J. Marable, who's just a tank. They got this other guy, Ricky Person Jr., who's just a tank. These guys play through so much contact, man. They're just big, hulking. They're like what you think of when you like close your eyes and think of a running back. Like Ricky Person should be in the NFL. Like the guy's incredibly physical and he can catch the ball. Like they're all dangerous. They just have so many weapons. However many weapons you think the Battlehawks have, Stephen Mitchell's not as good as the number 4 wide receiver. Is not as consistent as the number 4 wide receiver for the Stallions, man. They are just willing to give the ball to anybody. They can do whatever they want. They have good play calling. They sequence things. They run a T formation. They run a T formation on short yardage plays. Who the hell runs a T formation in 2024? It's a lot of fun to watch. And you're thinking like last week was the first time they threw a pass out of it in 6 games. They run it like 3 or 4 times a game. They run a T, or maybe twice, 2-3 times a game. Maybe 4 times is a little bit. That's a little bit much. But they have this T formation, and they'll throw out of it too. Like they just do so much. They just do so much on offense, and they're really good at it. If there's a way to beat them, it's with. Man, I want to say you're going to have to QB spy, but a good QB spy would be Mike Rose, to have a linebacker that's just keyed on the quarterback. But it's tough to say now. It's really tough to say. It's going to be on this defensive line again, which is good because I think that's the strongest, I think that is the strongest part of this defense. That being said, the corners and defensive backs are playing really well too. I mean, this is the Battlehawks allow the least passing yards from any team in the UFL, so they can win there. They can win there. That's the thing about this is that the Stallions, yes, they're 6-0. They're on a 12-game win streak. Actually, fun thing is that they'll be, if they win this game on Saturday, it'll be a 13-game win streak. The last time they lost a game was on May 13th, 2023. So it'll be, if the Battlehawks can't beat them, they will have gone a full calendar year without losing a game, which is just a really frightening thing. But they haven't been playing too many difficult teams. They've played against 3 teams who have a 1-5 record. They played the Showboats twice. That is part of that. They've played the Renegades, who are 0-6. They've only played one team that currently has a winning record. Whereas the Battlehawks have played. I mean, it's hard because there's not a whole lot of parity in this league. It seems like teams are either bad or good. I guess the Defenders are the kind of middle team there who are 3-3. But they haven't really played a good team. And that's what this Battlehawks team is. It's just going to come down to the consistency of the offense and whether or not they're actually able to sustain drives. But my point here was that the Stallions have not played a defense that's as good as the Battlehawks defense, and the Battlehawks defense hasn't played an offense that's as good as this one. So it's really going to be like the best offense in the UFL against the best defense in the UFL. That's going to be a fun watch. Watching this game when the Battlehawks are on defense is going to be a whole lot of fun. I think when we're watching it with the Battlehawks on offense against that Birmingham defense, that's where the frustrations come into play. That's where the frustration's going to come into play. It's going to be, I'm afraid again that it's going to be one of these where they're just relying on these explosive plays and they're not getting a whole lot of those long sustained drives. They did have one last week, but you want more than that. You don't want to have a bunch of 2-minute drives and then one 8-minute drive. Let's get a 4-minute drive. Let's get a 6-minute drive in there. We don't want it to be just polar opposites there. We don't want that. We want it to consistently be moving the ball, and I just haven't seen that consistent kind of time-killing drive happen with the Battlehawks yet. Does that make sense? Like, yes, they've been relatively consistent on offense, but not that consistent kind of keep moving the ball downfield at a steady rate. It's kind of like, explode, punt, explode. It's that kind of thing. I'm looking for bang, 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 bang. Keep going, keep moving in rhythm. We need Bruce Gradkowski to start sequencing plays better, not just screen, just to screen stuff like that. Because this defense for Birmingham, man, they're stalwart, dude. They're stalwart. Their ends are good. They lead the league in sacks, and every sack that they have, they just crush teams. They crush the quarterback. There's never the gentle like, "Ooh, I swamped you. You're going down." Well, there was actually one of those last week. But for the most part, it's just they're demolishing people. They're hurting quarterbacks. They're taking people out of the game. And man, that's just tough. That's a tough thing to see. That's why we're also really hoping that we get that healthy offensive line back. Because again, if even one of those guys goes down, then we're talking about a third string defensive lineman in. And that is not a situation that we want to be in against guys like this. Good thing about this defense is that their defensive backs are not great. They can get beat deep. You just coughing back there? You lying down on a sofa and coughing, buddy? That's a gross dog. My dog is gross. What was I talking about? The defensive backs can be beat. The way that AJ played last week, and it helps because it was screens for him, but getting the ball out quick. Need to get the ball out quick. There's going to be things underneath that are going to be there for AJ. There's going to be things deep on the sides that are going to be there for AJ. I would like to see him throw the ball to the right more, obviously, because it can be starting to be predictable. I can't imagine that there's not somebody on the UFL or the Birmingham staff that is like done a spray chart like this. Like, I'm sure that they're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. And if you're seeing that, you're like, oh, we can beat this guy. But they also haven't played against Hakeem Butler. Gonna need Gonna need to not force things. I keep saying this, and it is working. Don't force things. Don't force things. Like, let your big guys be big guys. Let your big guy, like, don't try to do a Hakeem Butler on the swing route. Don't do that. Let's have don't have take advantage of the tools in the bodies that your players have. Like, let Hakeem Butler be a big guy and absolutely sun people like he did last week. That's what we need. That's how the Battlehawks are going to win this game. Don't try to force your guys to be something that they're not. Another thing that's going to be helpful is tight ends. Tight ends. Jake Sutherland needs to be a bigger part, or Kamari Averett. I would even be fine with that. But let's have our tight ends be part of the passing game, because there's always success whenever they are. There's such an underutilized part of this offense, and maybe that's part of the reason why they are successful, is that they go underlooked by defenses. They're like, okay, we'll give up one to Jake Sutherland. But if you give up one to Jake Sutherland, you're talking 25 yards. You're talking a touchdown. Jake Sutherland is a scorer, and the guy always catches the ball. The guy's big, he's physical. Use him more. That's what I'm saying. You can out physical this team, and they are very physical. Their linebackers are blasting people if they come in their zone. The Birmingham linebackers are they're very physical when they play. But if you get those big guys the ball and let them leverage, outmaneuver these people, you can scheme them open and actually have big yards on short passes. Yak is going to be a big thing here. We're going to need to make sure that those short passes turn into things, like Hakeem Butler getting, what did he end up having for Yak last game? He had 43 yards of Yak last game. Ja'Cour Pearson, 29 Yak. Like, we're going to need to be able to get that. And then also, how the defense has been doing, these defensive backs have been doing, limiting the Yak from the Stallions. That Kevin Austin, that guy, 57 Yak. Marlon Williams, whoever the fuck that is, 31. CJ Marable, a running back, 21. Like, they're able to get Yak, and they're very good at it. It's all about sticking people, those gang tackles, making sure that they do not get away from you. Put clamps on people. That's kind of where I'm at with this. The offense needs to take what they're given and just be true to their players and let the players do what they do. I do think that AJ is going to get sacked, and it's going to be scary. I know that that's going to happen. I think this ends up being a 3 or 4 sack game for AJ. But just protect the ball. Let's not do any of those strip sacks. This defense, that Birmingham defense, hunts for the ball. They get a lot of they lead the UFL in turnovers as well, in takeaways. Like, they're more than, like, that's what they do. They hunt for the ball. When they get a guy who it felt like they always have like 2 or 3 guys in the backfield whenever there is, whether it be a run or or they're on a pass rush. They always have guys swarming the quarterback. You just got to be careful. Let's not do any of that hold the ball out in one thing. Let's make sure that we're paying attention to what we have going on in our surroundings. Be careful with the ball, because they're going to go after it. So, yes, offense, be true to yourself, which is so fucking lame. Do I sound like a dickhead when I say be true to yourself? How about this? Don't do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit. Don't get cute. That's what I'm going to go. I got a little bit full of myself when I said be true to yourself. I apologize that you guys had to hear me say that. Don't do dumb shit, guys. Just don't do stupid bullshit. Just be smart with the ball. Looking again to see if they came out with this tweet, and they have not. Fuck me. Okay. Nope, just dropped my phone. And then defensively, it's tough. It's going to rely on that defensive line again to really fuck up the game. They've done really well these last couple games. Like I said, last week the defensive line was absolutely punishing Reed Sinnett. The week before that, they punished Jordan Ta'amu. They're going to need to punish, fingers crossed for Matt Corral, but they're going to need to punish Adrian Martinez in all actuality. Make sure that you don't do like any kind of over pursuit if we're talking these edge rushers. I don't think Peter Tamoy-Penu is going to do that, because he's smart and he's good. But Travis Feeney has done that in the past, over pursued. But just punish the people whenever you get a chance. And I think that there's a chance that you could potentially slow the offense down before plays have a chance to develop. And then also limit Yak. As far as the linebackers go, man, not having Mike Rose is going to be trouble. I'm not entirely sure what to expect from the linebackers. I want to say QB spy, but then you're also all of a sudden we're talking 10-on-10 ball rather than 11-on-10. So that kind of sucks. As far as a prediction for this game goes, Adrian Martinez is really fucking good, man. He's really good. I should say this before I get into the prediction. This is actually going to be A.J. McCarron's first game back in Alabama since 2013. Like, I've been looking at some of like the ticket charts and everything like that for this game. This is going to be the most people that have been in that stadium in a long time. There's going to be people in Alabama showing out for A.J. McCarron. That's a really good thing, and I think that there's a potential. I don't think it's going to be a home field advantage or anything like that. This stadium only sells out one side of they only sell tickets on one side of the stadium, but that could be a good thing. I think that there could be some really good vibes going if AJ does start absolutely flexing dick, which really hoping that he does for playing at home like that. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. Unfortunately, I think that the Birmingham Stallions are going to win this game 36-31. That's my prediction. Birmingham is a really fucking good team, man. They're really good. Am I over-cussing? I don't think so. I think that's an appropriate reaction to this team. They're real fucking good. They got good coaches. They got good players everywhere. They got this tight end number 81, Jordan Thomas, I think he played for the Guardians last year. He's just a big old hulking man. He always comes down with the ball. They just got so many weapons everywhere. I know this defense is good. I know that this defense is good, but man, this seems like this could be a lot of trouble. This seems like this could be. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I think that this game is either going to be 36-31 Birmingham, or I think that it's going to be 31-12 St. Louis. This defense is either absolutely going to show out and just stuff them, just shove them in a locker, or they're just going to get their dicks ripped off. I don't really see him. I don't see a middle ground. I see Birmingham scoring on 80%, 85% of their drives, or I see them scoring on 2 drives total. That's the polarization. But I'm more on the 36-31. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but that's going to be my prediction. Unfortunately, Battlehawks are going to lose this one. Fortunately, this game doesn't actually mean a whole lot. Birmingham's in a different division. They're beating the shit out of everybody. They've beaten every XFL conference team. It's not like this game's going to matter a whole lot when it comes to tiebreakers or anything. The Michigan Panthers game is actually probably one that's a little bit more important. That the Battlehawks lost that at the beginning. If it's coming down to tiebreakers and stuff like that, hopefully that's not the case. But this game doesn't mean a whole lot. It's kind of the point. It's going to be a good football game. It should be a really good football game. It should be a lot of fun. This should be a really good game. But I just don't think the Battlehawks come out on top. So unfortunately, they're going to fall to 5-2. Still a good record. Still a good record. Still would be potentially one game over the Brahmas. Potentially one game over the Defenders. So it'd still be in a good spot. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think I covered everything. Is there any specific numbers? Birmingham, one thing that could go for the Battlehawks benefit, could be a boon for the Battlehawks, is that there's a lot of injuries on that Birmingham defense right now. They had a linebacker go down. It was a big one. They've had a few other people go down. I can't remember all the numbers from that game. They had a cornerback go down. So maybe that's something that could help the battle. Maybe I don't know. I just don't know if it matters. They're kind of just loaded. Gonna need a big explosive game from Hakeem Butler again, unless somebody else kind of shows out. But I just don't necessarily think. I think you got to focus on the big guy being a big guy. Take advantage of the man looks when you get them, so that way you can actually make explosive plays on everything. My last note on here. Birmingham has a mascot, and he's really terrible. So just keep an eye out for a guy in a horse costume. Like, he has no energy. It's like a good, like, professional, like, mascot costume. It's not just like some shithead in a Party City hat. Like, this is a full blown thing. But the guy just does not give a shit about his job, and it is very funny. Like, Houston kicked a field goal in that last game, and you just saw the horse just sitting there with his arms crossed. Like, a lot of times you'll see, like, a mascot, like, banging his head on, like, the upright or something like that if the field goal goes in. This guy was just standing in a tunnel with his arms crossed. It was very funny. I think that's it. I talked about everything. How long have I been going here? I feel like it's been about an hour. One last check to see if the UFL tweeted that thing out. They have not. So that's kicking the dick. Really wish they would have helped me out there. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Thank you guys very much for joining me. My name's Jake. This has been Solid. Your Battlehawks are playing on Saturday at 3 p.m. It's going to be on Fox, unfortunately. I will be back with you guys on Sunday for a reaction. Go Battlehawks, go Ironbirds, go Birds. reKAWP is the law. Literally anything that you say out loud in public, anything that you say at all. If you give somebody the finger during when you're in traffic, if you give somebody the finger, they'll be like, oh, that guy just likes the Battlehawks. That's all it is. Anything that you say, there's just so many sayings. That's the whole point. Go Birds, go Ironbirds. Battlehawks, unfortunately, are going to lose this game. I'll talk to you guys on Sunday.